What's up? What's up? You know what's going on, man? It's Bezo80 through all that social media. I got my co-host with me right now.
Ben Mikey, $, Mikey, man. Guest in the building.
We got the amazing,
Special,
the beautiful,
glamorous,
talented
guess what?
Tiffany J in the building.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Okay.
What's good?
I wasn't ready for the crowd. But, everything's well. Thank y'all for having me.
Definitely good to finally meet you.
Oh, yeah.
I've been following you for a short time on social media, but when I was on a quest to find R&B, because we do a lot of rappers. So and I love rap. That's my first love, hip hop. But I listen to more R&B in my leisure time.
Okay.
And I was just on a quest to find SC, grown R&B artists, and you was one of the ones I discovered. And you can sing.
Oh, thank you.
And everybody else, they do their thing too. Now I love it. It's melodic. It sounds good, but
but she can sing.
You can sing.
I appreciate
that.
I
was glad I was able to discover you. And like I see you got a lot of releases out that's doing well. You're doing your own shows and performing all over the place. Mm-hmm. Talk about the journey so far, and just that spirit of independence you have, because I see you put your own shows on and everything.
Yeah, first let me say I love the record wall.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Something we thought of.
It reminds me of so I had an office building. I actually closed my office in January, but this is how my setup was.
Wow, really?
Behind my desk. But you have more 2000s, little 90s hip hop R&B.
Right.
I had more 80s R&B records on my wall.
Yeah, okay.
But I like the vibe of this, so
appreciate it. We DJs, and we just had a big wall of records, and we decided to start the show. We was like, what we gonna do? We gonna order a backdrop. We gonna do this. We just start pulling
exactly. Y'all got them up just how I had them up with Tom Taylor. That's exactly how we had them up.
Straight up.
But to answer your question, so before I was Tiffany J, the solo artist, I was in a gospel group.
Oh,
so this year is like the 21st year. I think July will be the 21st anniversary of that gospel group starting.
Wow.
And that was my introduction to recording.
What's the name of the gospel group?
The gospel group was called Eternal Voices.
Oh, okay.
So
21 years in the game. Is that like a family driven?
So kind of sort of, we all grew up in the same church, so we've known each other forever. There was no recollection of how did we meet. We just always know each other.
Right.
So we started a group. A matter of fact, it was July 4th, 2002, because we went to the movies 4th of July, and we was like, we're gonna start a group. Outside at the movies.
What movie y'all was watching?
I do not know what movie we went to see, but I do know it was 4th of July.
I got inspired.
To start a group outside of our church choir. So fast forward 10 years from there, I literally just celebrated my 10-year solo artist anniversary in November. So this is my 11th year as Tiffany J.
Hey, big it up. 11 years as Tiffany J.
Big deal.
It's the journey has been interesting. And it's crazy how you say I can sing or whatnot. I come from gospel. And to be honest, gospel, when you're an indie artist, isn't as accepting as R&B is. If you don't have the riffs, the runs, the acrobats, that's like the meat.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's the meat of gospel, but that's what a lot of gospel singers, that's the bar they set. If you can sing, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I felt a lane for me in R&B.
Right.
And then I like to use the word soul as a genre. But I found that for me, one thing I will applaud myself on is opening my own door. I don't always wait on somebody to give me an opportunity. I'll create my own. So that's kind of why I do a lot of my own shows. I don't wait on people to book me. I'll book a venue, put my band together. We're going to have a show, sell tickets.
I love it.
If I want to perform, if I want to put a record out, I'm not a perfectionist.
Right.
So my only thing is when I put out something else, I can't go backwards. So you gonna at least get the same level of quality you got last time from me, or you gonna get better. We not getting worse.
Love it.
So yeah.
What's the name of the band? Big shout out to the band.
So I don't have a band name. Normally when people gig with me, we perform under the name Tiffany J.
Okay.
So everybody is just supporting cast of me. Sometimes we rotate people out based on schedules.
Right.
And with a lot of us not necessarily doing music only full time.
Yeah.
Creatives have different creative talents. So like somebody that does pictures for me might sing too. Yeah. Or, we have so many different creative hats because I do graphics full time. That's my full time business. Gotcha. So we have different hats where we can't be committed to everything that I'm called for. Yeah. But when I go out, regardless of who's behind me, it's the artist is Tiffany J.
Gotcha. Dope. I mean, I seen, some of your productions, man. It just looked like a movie.
Oh, okay.
It looks like, because I've been in a lot of clubs and, bars around South Carolina, and it just looked like, where are they? What is that? It looked like
it was a little big. Exclusive for a minute during the pandemic, especially. We used to record live streams in this place called The Warehouse. And for a minute, nobody knew where it was, but then we kind of introduced people to it, and it got heavily used at that point. But
Okay. That's creative. That's creative. So, like I said, you're doing a lot of amazing things in music and beyond. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning, because some people may not, know of you yet, especially with our audience. So we want to introduce them to you for the first time. Where are you originally from?
I am originally from Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
I have always lived in Columbia, South Carolina. Okay.
What part you from? Columbia got different tucks and cuts and
So I'm from like the Columbia College Drive area. Okay. That's more North Columbia. Okay, North Maine.
Big shout out to the North.
Monticello. That's where I'm rooted.
I know Monticello now.
Yeah, so that's where I'm from.
Okay.
But I also grew up in the Woodfield, kind of Northeast Columbia area as well. Once I got a little older in age, not grown, but like middle school.
Gotcha.
And beyond.
So what was childhood like for you coming up?
Man, childhood for me was a little rough. So what's interesting about my story is, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, if y'all didn't know. I'm a big mental health, self-esteem, suicide prevention advocate.
Gotcha.
Reason being is when I was 12, I actually attempted to commit suicide. So a lot of what I do today, whether it's through music, whether it's through my speaking, I'm an author as well, whether it's through my girls camp, which is we're planning the 10th year annual girls camp this year. Like whatever I do is all about making people come into contact with me to be better selves.
Gotcha.
So I'm just real big on people finding their unique identities and being comfortable in that, and then learning to love it. Because a lot of times people preach self-love and be like, you need to love yourself. Yeah. True. But how can you really love something if you don't know what it is? So I try to instruct youth, young adults, how to discover who you are first and then fall in love with that.
Wow, that's beautiful. So
yeah, childhood was a little shaky for me, but I'm grateful for the experience.
Definitely. That shape you and who you are today, I'm sure.
Definitely.
So what was you into though? Like
I was into music, always on the church choir, like since 6 years old. I started writing songs at 14, so I started early.
Wow.
I was on the band. I played trumpet. I love to write in my journal. I love to play basketball when I was young.
Okay. Who got a little hoop?
I did love to play basketball when I was young. I did play softball as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't like super active like athlete.
Yeah.
But I like to have fun. I'm a goofball.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I'm real passive and like kept to myself. So I'm a little nonchalant sometimes too.
I can understand that. I definitely can relate to that too. So, when did you discover like you were super talented, like as a child? Somebody heard you singing on the bus, or what's that story where you was like?
It probably was at church. My first solo, I was in 6th grade. So
what song was it?
It was a song called "He Is God." I only had a little piece of the verse.
Yeah. You tore it up though.
But I got a clip of me singing it actually.
Yeah?
I ain't tear it up.
I mean,
I did all right. I did all right for a sixth grader. But my mom heavily sang in church, so I always love to see people flock to her after church and be like, "Oh, you blessed me so much." Like that inspired me to like. I wonder if I can touch people in the same way. Right. It just happens that when you get older, especially when you growing up in church, in traditional church, you start to learn things about life and your religion for yourself. Like the older people be like, don't question God, but it's like, why not? Like God is open to our questions. Yeah, like I can ask God a question. You know what I mean? So the older I got, I see how I can still touch people the same way my mama did in church in soul and R&B music. I don't have to sing. I don't have to put myself in a gospel box to reach people's souls. So
I mean, you're so talented. You know, I get that. You know, you can't put you in a box.
Yeah, I don't like boxes.
So what was your? You know, you say you started writing at 14. When did you decide, you know what, I'm going to the studio?
I don't think I went to a studio to record until it was either around my senior year in high school or like early college. I want to say like senior year of high school. I didn't record any before that. But around that time, 18, 19.
Was it like a professional studio or like some of us, you know, our humble beginnings, homeboy closet? Or
it was a homeboy. It was a homeboy studio that they made in their church.
Oh wow!
So it was like a room that the church had in the basement, and they built a booth. Like it was
music come out of studios like that.
So that was my first studio experience.
What was the record you recorded back then? You remember?
It was with my group, and it was called "Is He Yours?" That's what it was called. "Is He Yours?" Eternal Voices.
Is it yours?
That was "Is He Yours?"
Is He yours?
So that was the first record re-recorded. I can't remember what year that was.
What was the response? Y'all put out CDs or?
We put out CDs, hard copy CDs.
Okay. What was the response on that joint?
It was pretty cool because, like I said, we all grew up together in the same church. So when the record dropped, our church family was just real proud. They hadn't seen anything like that before coming out of that church. Yeah. Now, mind you, I take that back. Mind you, Angie Stone grew up in my church too.
Yeah, okay.
Angie Stone is like a mentor auntie to me. So she grew up with my mom, and when they left, they went to my church. Her and Blondie from Sequence, they both went to my church First National in Columbia. So I can't say that wasn't the first time they seen it, but as somebody active in the church, like selling their record, that was the kind of the first experience for them for that.
You gave us a good story just now.
Real. So they weren't mad at y'all for building that studio in that church?
Well, it wasn't our studio. Actually, our homeboy whose studio built it, their pastor gave them permission. It was in Winsboro, in Winsboro, South Carolina. So their pastor was real cool.
Winsboro and pastor.
And the pastor.
That's hard.
And then the pastor was white, by the way.
Yeah?
They were Christian rappers. They used to be like hip hop rappers, but then they, kind of found God and then started doing Christian hip hop. But they was rappers. But the pastor was white, they was black.
Y'all snuck in there and got y'all one in.
Oh yeah.
That's hard. So, I know you said you finally broke away from the group. And we don't got to get into why that. Maybe
it's funny though.
Go ahead.
I won't share
we love stories.
A whole bunch, but
why did the
what's
group?
What's funny is my very first solo single was called Flying Solo. But it was not a shot at the group.
It sounded a shot.
But it worked marketing wise. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So my very first solo song was called Flying Solo. And
hold on now. My next question was going to be the moment you decided to go solo. So let's back up for 1 minute.
Flying Solo.
What in particular happened with the group?
Life just started changing. So when we started the group, we were young teenagers, and life at this point, we was 10 years in. Yeah. So now we young adults. Life is just different for everybody at this point. Yeah, okay. And everybody did not have the same passion and drive to continue like music career chasing as I did. Okay, gotcha. So we never really broke up. Like I never left the group. I was just like, man, I might do some solo stuff. Like,
gotcha.
So
that's understandable.
Yeah, so we had a couple things we sung at after that. I think the first time I sang at the South Carolina State Fair, the group was my background singer. So I opened for Kirk Franklin that year, and they
Pop it.
Yeah, they
Okay.
sung background for me, so it was still love across the board.
That's big motion.
I just didn't lead the group, but Flying Solo was definitely the name of the
Did they
single.
feel a way about the single coming out?
We make jokes about it,
Okay, that's good.
We
That's
make
good.
jokes
That's good.
about
That's
it.
Good. Flying Solo.
and they still support me today.
So what was that moment
That
where
was-
you said, you know what, I'm going solo, and you started writing and recording, and did you go straight to secular, or you still was doing gospel?
So the thing about when I write about my life, and whether that includes a God moment or a love moment or whatever. Okay. I feel like I create life music.
I like that.
I wanted to jump straight into R&B, but I was a little scared. I was trying to figure out, how do I make this transition?
Right.
So while I think my first single was classified as jazz. Either jazz or R&B soul on iTunes.
Gotcha.
But I was still being invited to churches to sing. So what I did was like, I'm still saying my song. You know, it ain't nothing wrong with what I'm saying. It's still, it can point to scripture. Because to me, gospel music is a song that is related to scripture. A lot of what we hear that we classify as gospel ain't even gospel. It's just inspirational.
Yeah, I know.
So I was still going to churches, and then in 2014, no, not 2014, 2013, I was like, I gotta do a show where it's strictly R&B, so people can understand that there's a difference. So I found a bar lounge for the location, so they know. Location wise, okay, this ain't church.
What's the name of the spot? We going.
It was called Miss Scotto's. So like the wine Miss Scotto's, but it was Miss Scotto's.
Okay.
So it was a small lounge with a bar. You know, the people come dressing up, having a good time. So we had to set the scene for people to understand this ain't church.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was my first show where I just covered R&B music. I did some original songs, but it was just like, this is who I'm trying to be as an artist. It's not the person unsure what genre they gonna be in. No, this is who I am as an artist.
How did you feel after that night? You know, was that like a significant night of
It was. I still reflecting on it. It was different for me, but I'm glad I made that jump because it kind of set the tone for how I was going to continue.
Was it a certain record, whether it was an original or a cover, that you did that night that you was like, okay, I got this?
Not necessarily that night, but a show right after that. The cover that people fell in love with me doing was X Factor by Lauryn Hill. Like everywhere I went, people was like, you gonna do X Factor? So for a minute, for a couple years, that was like my staple cover song. Like, and that was the first video I put up on Facebook that got like an organic 30,000 views.
Dang.
So I was like, okay.
That got me through some stuff as a young.
I love Lauryn Hill though,
that's my favorite R&B artist.
But X Factor was that cover that was like, this is what I'm trying to do.
I wish you could sing some of it now, but I ain't gonna pressure you though.
We might give a little bit at the end. I can't be scared.
That's beautiful. So what gave you that mindset to put on your own shows? Because we deal with a lot of artists and they won't do stuff like that. We tell them all the time that it's a good idea. You see other artists doing it like yourself. What gave you that courage and that mindset? Because you could have did it and nobody came.
Right. I think for me, being self-employed or full-time entrepreneur, I already had a mindset that I have to make ways for myself. Just can't always wait on people to give you opportunities if you have room to create that lane for yourself. So while I fear or I don't like rejection as much, I'm always good with trying something and then just getting better the next time, you know? So putting on the show ain't nothing for me to be like, if I say I'm going to do something, best believe I'm going to do it. So I try to encourage people, like, you can't expect people to jump on board with you if they can't see you investing and believing in yourself. So that's one big thing for me with artists. They want to know, you know, how they gonna get paid for these shows, and people ain't buying this and that, or they want people to sponsor stuff right off the bat. What have you invested into your own career first?
That's a
Like, what
bar.
do you have to show for what you're trying to do?
Y'all hear
Other
that?
than asking people all the time for
Do
stuff.
y'all hear that? She giving y'all gems right now.
Other than just always asking or feeling like people ought to do this for you, what have you done for yourself?
Right.
And you weren't afraid to, like, okay, cool, you did the show, right? Everybody love X Factor, you know that part, but you weren't afraid that you would get stuck just doing that.
Just doing covers?
Yeah, just doing covers.
No, because I always tried to insert my original music when I perform. And like during the pandemic, I promised myself, unless it's a wedding or like a specific planned themed event or something, I will always be on stage. If I'm on stage with a mic, you gonna hear something of mine.
I love it.
Like I'll do covers still, but every time I get on stage, if I'm booked for something, you get some of Tiffany J music.
That's beautiful. That's a way to work.
I've invested too much into my own music just to be like, nah, I'm just doing cover songs tonight. No.
I know a lot of dope artists, and I mean amazing artists. We don't gotta name no names, and I know they got dope records, but then they start doing the covers, and you know people, you know they love them. You know, they got a lot of nostalgic records, and they just get caught up in that, and they don't never, you know, get their original stuff off. So I love that, you know, you're doing that.
I can see how they're scared to do that though, especially when you're performing with house bands
and you killing tonight.
Yeah, and you're kind of sensitive about your stuff, so you want to make sure when you do it, it's how you want it. You want to make sure the band locked. A lot of singers don't like singing with tracks. I know I don't.
Yeah.
I prefer singing with a live band, but if the band don't know my song, it's like maybe I shouldn't do that. So I can see how they might be hesitant, but at some point you got to jump into it and be like, we planning this show, we rehearsing, here's my song, and we going to put this in rehearsal and throw this into, you got to rehearse.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
like that.
The road to the Evolving album.
Okay.
2016. What was your mindset? What was life like at that point?
Man.
You know, walk us through that journey.
I was definitely growing up on the path to that record. And I was feeling all types of love moments, whether it was loving myself a little bit more. It was shortly after I really was like digging me. Started loving somebody else that really wasn't reciprocating the right way.
Okay.
And I was like hoping and wishing things would change and just being optimistic about situations, just showing people how to love other people. So Evolving was a really special record for me because it was my first solo album.
Right.
What my first solo project, because my EP came out first, but my first solo album, and I was real particular about who produced it. I wanted to make sure the album had live instrumentation and not program production.
Oh, yeah.
So I was real particular about how I approached that. It's still one of my favorite projects that I've worked on, period. So it was a growing up moment. And when I write Evolving, I capitalize the first four letters, the EVOL, because it spells love backwards. So the album is about growing through love.
That's love.
Yeah.
What's the name of the EP? We got to shout that out real quick.
EP is called Bird's Eye View. So
Bird's
the
Eye
EP
View.
had the Flying Solo single, got put on that song called Beauty You Are, Draw, a couple other songs, but it was my first Tiffany J project, and I can tell a difference in just Tiffany J as a woman between the two records.
Gotcha. Who was producing on that Evolving joint?
Bruce Robinson produced that record. He actually used to tour with Fantasia. He was
I heard that name before.
lead guitarist for several years. He
Big
produced
shout,
that record.
Bruce Robinson in the building, man. That's dope. How did you guys connect?
I've known Bruce since high school. And he actually played on one of our group records, so I had just known him for years.
Okay, gotcha. That's dope.
Real
What made you even, come with the projects out the gate instead of being more single driven?
Well, I was kind of single driven, so Flying Solo came out as a single. I followed that up with a single called Beauty You Are, and at that point I was like, let me put together an EP. After the EP, before Evolving, I dropped another single called Being Me, which still to this day gets played on the radio. Like every Saturday, the Big DM plays that song. Every Saturday
Big shout
morning.
to Big DM
And Jeffrey Lampkin.
Big shout to Jeffrey Lampkin.
So every Saturday, that song still plays, and that came out in 2016. You know.
So, pardon me, I'm gonna cut you off. Was that the record that really took it to a new level for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. So after that record, I was like, Bruce, because he produced that single. I was like, let's go ahead and do an album. So that's how we got to Evolving. And then between Evolving and my second album, Epiphany 325,
that's why I'm headed at.
I had several singles in between that.
Okay. I off the second album, Epiphany 325. First of all, what's the meaning behind that name?
So my name, Tiffany, means manifestation of God. And it's Greek. And oftentimes the name was given to girls born on January 6th. Back in that culture, it was the Epiphany. And I wanted to show that my music or my content, my lyrics can actually be the word. It could be word for somebody. It can be scripture. So going back to like my church roots. So that's why the 325 is written like Epiphany is the book. 3 is the chapter and 25 is the verse. And I use 325 because that's my birthday.
Okay. That's 2 days for my birthday. Okay. Every season in the building.
Okay.
They got them.
Happy belated birthday. It's still, fresh.
Happy belated birthday to you as well. I love the Goliath record, Secure the Bag. I love that record.
Okay.
And I definitely love the Love Lessons record with Stefan.
Okay.
Which I'm familiar with him. So
okay.
How did you connect with Stefan?
Same. I've known Stefan. He's younger than me, but I've known him since high school.
Okay.
We went to the same high school. I think I graduated before Stefan got to Keenan.
Yeah.
But he was on the chorus, and our chorus teacher at Keenan always kept in touch with her old students. So we would always come back for stuff, and we got to meet the younger chorus students. So I had known Nate or Stefan.
Nate.
Nate's right.
She said it.
For years. Yeah, I said
it. So on the Love Lessons record, you had a bar where you said Elvana wanted a refill, you wanted a refund.
Oh yes.
That was hard. So
absolutely.
Let's talk about this for the ladies out there. Give them some relationship advice and what was that? What were you going through? What's some love lessons you learned along the way in this thing?
So believe him when he said it the first time. Like a lot of times people say actions speak louder than words, but sometimes it gets confusing when those words saying the right thing. Like when the words, no, let me back up.
Talk to him.
When the words aren't saying the right thing, but the actions are, it's confusing because the action's supposed to speak louder, but you should believe his words.
Yeah.
If he tell you, no, I ain't trying to go that far. Yeah. But if he's still like, all right, where we going to eat today or spending time, like you gotta believe what he say, because they be tripping you up.
That's tough though.
They be tripping you up.
If I like your vibe, then
then we gonna go chill.
See. The thing is, some men can't see themselves being a good guy to a good girl. They'll value that girl. They'll put that girl on a pedestal. I'll say woman. They'll put her, at the top of the list, but they just know they ain't gonna do right. So they don't want to be like, I can't see myself being guilty for breaking this girl's heart, but I love her, I care for her, I don't want nobody else to hurt her, but I still want to keep her in my back pocket. Is that part. And you just have to, when they say it, just take the words surface level, no matter how much he's showing up and supporting you and giving you stuff.
No advice.
If he be like, we ain't gonna do no relationship and that's what you want, you just gotta break your own heart first before he breaks it.
Ladies, you hear that? She gave y'all some bars and gems right
You gotta break your own heart first.
A lot of truth in what you're saying too. So
it's confusing.
But talk about, the mindset. We're gonna move on from that.
Be there all day.
I think you're speaking to Ben Mikey's soul, but anyway.
Nah, I'm quiet.
Talk about, Epiphany 325. What was the mindset? We got records like Love Lessons on there. What was the, what did you want the fans to get from that album?
So what I wanted was something different from Evolving.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna use different producers on this record and not the same producer for the whole record. That was one goal. So I made sure I mixed up production. And then because I gave the live instrumentation feel for Evolving, I was like, I'm gonna try to go for more program stuff on this album just to see, you know, how different things can be. I was not in a loving mood when I wrote this record, like when I wrote
I listened to a lot of the records. There's a lot of records.
So when I was finishing the record, I was like, man, I ain't got no love song on this record. So the last song I wrote and placed on my album was My Sunshine.
Okay.
And I was just like, because I got to write a love song for people think I'm bitter.
Gotcha. So Secure the Bag. That's one of the hottest records to me on the joint.
See my shirt?
I see the shirt. So was that one of the records people was gravitating towards, I guess, commercially?
That is probably my most popular single at this point.
Yeah, okay.
Secure the Bag is, and then when I dropped the music video, people really gravitated to it because the music video had a surprise rap verse.
I hear them bars you got though.
The music video had a surprise rap verse that I wrote the day before I filmed it. So like that whole thing is crazy. So when the video dropped, I was like, let me just go ahead and release this as an extended cut. After the fact. But
you direct your own videos?
I hadn't always. So the last 2 music videos I put out, I did direct.
Okay, gotcha. That's dope. You do it all. And fast forward now, we got Sweet Love Song. That came out February, I believe.
It did.
How's that doing for you right now?
It has to date been my song with the most streams.
I see that.
Spotify, Apple Music as well. So it's doing well.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a planned record. I'm pretty sure we'll get to the live recording, but I knew I wanted to pre-release something that I would be doing for my live recording. And then I was like, let me just go ahead and put together a song. It was just like, we're going to do this real quick.
Okay.
Put it out for Valentine's Day.
Okay,
so,
good. Okay.
Yeah.
You answered my next question. I was like, it sounded like you back in the love wave a little bit, which
well,
is
I'm
great.
not. Like, personally, I'm not. But I don't anymore create music based on, by the time somebody hears it, I'm over whatever that situation is.
Gotcha.
So I don't necessarily write about my experiences per se anymore.
Okay.
Like when I first started writing music, I could only write if it came to me naturally. I couldn't sit down and write a song. Like things would come to me naturally. I have to record a voice note. I have to write whatever down. But now somebody say, write a song about this, I can sit down and write a song about it.
That's dope.
So I just know I wanted something out for Valentine's Day.
So take us to the studio with you real quick, for the
Okay.
fans. What's your vibe? You got to have people with you, just you.
Nah, absolutely
What's the energy?
not.
What's the energy?
I don't want no extra people in the room. Normally it's just me and a producer friend of mine. And he has also been my engineer a lot, even if he hadn't produced stuff. And I absolutely love working with him. His name is Rod King.
Big shout Rod King.
So normally it's just me and him in the room.
Okay.
He helps guide me a lot. I record background vocals first, and then I go back and record lead. Background vocals are so much easier to record than lead vocals. But I love doing background vocals. I love stacking. Yeah. So normally we do 4 stacks per part. A lot of my songs have 4-part harmony. Some parts have 5-part harmony. Yeah. Sweet Love Song is one of those things. In the bridge, there's a 5-part harmony on that bridge on that particular song. But yeah, my vibe is just like, let's go and do the work. Yeah. And then me and Rod are really cool. So a lot of my time is spent we talking about stuff, and I'm like, look, the clock is running. Like, let's record.
Right. That's dope, man. I always like to take the viewers into the studio with the artist, kind of see your creative process. So,
and then I record a little bit at home too.
Okay, word. Which one you enjoy the most?
At Rod Studio. Okay, I'll record at home if time is like conflicting, and then I need to replace something real quick. So I prefer to go to his.
Gotcha. Well, 2023 is here, of course. We're in the second quarter right now. What can we expect from you next?
Man, so this month, I am doing a live recording concert for my third album. So that's going to be on May 27th this month, and we are filming and recording that at South Carolina ETV in Columbia.
That's going to be hard.
So I'm super excited about that. This is probably the biggest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I can already tell how much bigger it is based on all of the pre-work that's involved.
Well, you working this joint.
So
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah. So it's for my third album, and the reason I'm doing a live album is we don't see that a lot in R&B anymore.
Right.
It's big in gospel. Like gospel always got live recording albums dropping. Yeah. In R&B, we really hadn't seen that since the late 90s, early 2000s, especially when Neo Soul hit the scene. Yeah. We had that Erykah Badu live album. Like, those are the records I love. Yeah. And when I cover songs, a lot of times to rehearse or to send it to the band, we like to listen to the live record and do the live record version versus the studio recording.
I love the live version.
So I just wanted to create that for me. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing some old songs on it. So it's songs we are doing live from the Evolving record, from Epiphany, and we got new songs.
Wow.
That's fire.
Any exclusive news about the actual performance, like any songs you could name that you're going to do?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you
a little something.
I'll give you 3 songs. I'll give you a song from each album and the song for the name of a new song.
Okay.
So from Evolving, we are doing Patiently Waiting. From Epiphany 325, we are doing My Sunshine. And My Sunshine, I actually have a feature for the live version, a male feature. His name is J.D. Jones.
Okay, big shout out
He's
J.D.
from,
Jones.
Charlotte, North Carolina, so he'll be the male feature on that. I wanted to make it a duet. Yeah. So we doing that, and then what's different for me, so we talked about my music, and my stuff is real positive. It ain't nothing, we talking about love and things. You kind of insinuate whatever you insinuate. Yeah. But we got a song called Free, and it is out the box for me. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, we looking forward to that.
It's out the box for me.
Who produced the joint?
So my musical director, his name is TJ Antonio Mackey. He told me no like 4 times before he agreed to be my MD. But he is the producer for the new record. So I'm excited about it. It's a funk record too.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Looking forward to that. Who helped curate this experience that's about to happen?
So alongside TJ, he's producing the new songs, but he's also the musical director of the band. Okay. He and my guy Chip Hopkins, they are both my main keyboard players, period. So I could have not done this without either one of them. Like, they have my back completely.
Yeah.
When I say they know my music, they know my music. Like, if I be like, all right, we need to go perform somewhere in an hour, we don't have to rehearse. They know my songs, and they weren't even the producers of them, so they know my stuff. They believe in me, they support me, they are conscious enough about what my end goal and my vision is, and they support that. So they more so have a heart to not want to let me down.
That's a beautiful.
So I couldn't do this without them, but we called in some other musicians. So it's a full 5-piece band. Background singers, live.
Oh man!
Like, it's at South Carolina ETV, so it's in a production studio. It's gonna be with an audience. My audience can seat up to 130 people. So it's gonna be a time. It's gonna be a time.
I know you already know how big it is, but I just want the viewers and everybody to know, man, this is major.
Man,
I don't think this ever been done.
Camera work gonna be crazy.
This is crazy.
Like, we got a whole jib operator. If you don't know what a jib is just like these microphones on the stand, but a camera being the thing, that big old thing that go over people.
Right.
We got a jib operator on camera. We got, like a 5-camera setup.
Right.
And then y'all want it exclusive?
Yes.
We need
it
exclusive.
Exclusive.
We love exclusive.
Go for it.
Big Motion Podcast exclusive. You hear it first right here from Tiffany J. Let's go.
So we're talking about the live recording May 27th, but I have not really publicly told everybody when it's dropping. It's dropping in September. Now, I wanted to do the live record in May because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And a lot of reasons why I'm sane is because music has saved me. Music has been a safe high for me. So that was really important. But I'm releasing it in September, which is Suicide Prevention Month. But we're releasing it September 13th in a movie theater in Columbia. So it's going to be, my album release will be a movie premiere because we're filming the whole thing, behind the scenes footage. So the premiere will be a movie premiere.
That's hard. We got big.
That's so different. That's so different.
Big motion. I told y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, hit notification bells. We bring people here with big motion.
Word. In September the best
Tiffany
month.
J. Live album recording. And we dropping that joint in a movie theater. You know what's going on, man. This is
fire.
Big motion. This is why we do this here.
That's
big
amazing.
motion. That's
like,
crazy.
For real. That's out
crazy.
The box.
So
that's
yeah,
really
I'm excited for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
How can people buy tickets for the live recording?
Oh yeah, please go get them tickets.
Plug it in. Plug it in real quick.
IamTiffanyJ.com.
Okay.
You can find the link there, or if you go on Eventbrite and just search it. Okay. The event is called Soulbird Sessions. It's named after my company, Soulbird Entertainment. But Soulbird Sessions Live, and Soulbird is spelled SOLBIRD.
I make sure y'all chime in, tune in, go get them tickets.
Go get them.
Sell this joint out. It's gonna be a sold out show.
I would love to have y'all there.
You know that.
Where was this Tips Lab edition at?
At my office.
That's at your office.
So if you look in the very back, you'll see that record wall in the very back by the aux player. But that was my office building.
Okay. Your production is always top notch. It's just like, where are they?
Yeah, that was in my that was my day-to-day office. Like when I went into that office space, the walls were like really like pale bluish gray, and I was like, Dad, I want pink walls. So my dad painted the whole place pink.
Big shout
Pops.
And I put the record wall on one side. I had my dolls and stuff because I was plugged Super Beauty in a little bit real quick. But I had like my dolls and my children's books and my other book and stuff on the shelf. It was my spot, Tips Lab.
Well, since you went there, we got to talk about it. I know you said you're an author. What's the name of the books that you have out right now?
So my first book is called It All Starts With Me, an interactive guide to discovering self and loving it. 152-page book, my very first book. That's for adults can read that or like teenagers, but it's about how you discover yourself and, you know, get in the groove of knowing who you are and kind of operating in that. After that, I started, I created a fictional character called Super Beauty, who is a superhero who has powers that diminish the influence of bullies, boost self-esteem and confidence in her peers. So when I created the character, I created a children's book. The first book is called Super Beauty Saves the Day. We have a traveling mascot. We have dolls, 12-inch dolls that speak. They say over 20 motivational phrases that boost self-esteem. So that project,
big motion.
That brand has really got me a lot of national attention. From Good Morning America, I won a pitch competition on BET with T.I. and Grand Hustle. I've been featured in Essence, Hyper Magazine. So that brand has really got me a lot of attention.
Trust me. I mean, I love everybody that's been on the show. But when you said you was coming, I was very excited.
Oh man!
Cause I would do my homework. I was like, she got.
No, I can tell y'all do y'all homework, and kudos to that because everybody don't do that.
She got a lot going. Oh, I'm like, it's big for you to be here right now. I just want to let you know that.
I'm a regular country girl,
and I love that about you. I can get that good energy from you. But I just want you to know that you're doing amazing things for South Carolina. You got us looking good out there.
Thank you.
And that's what we love. You know, we get a bad rep sometimes, but people like you got us looking good out here.
Thank you.
So keep doing your thing. But before you go, we got a couple more questions.
Okay.
What would you say is your biggest accomplishment so far? If you had to choose, one thing.
Wow. It definitely has to be the creation of Super Beauty. It has to be, without a doubt. That was birthed after I knew who I was, and when it came, it was just on time. The creation of Super Beauty, she's really come and saved the day.
Yeah, that's hard. So let's just say that it's December 31st, and we're about to head into 2024. What is something that you want to look back on this year and feel like I did that?
Oh, the live recording. I have dedicated so much of my time to this live record. It has consumed me. Like I started planning this thing in November. I was looking for a location back in November. And ETV, what's crazy is ETV wasn't even my dream location. Where I wanted it at, they was like, they booked. They didn't have nothing available. And I'm asking in November. They didn't have nothing available before September this year. I'm like, y'all ain't got nothing. I'll do it any day of the week. Like, this is where I wanted it.
Yeah.
And it's just like when somebody tells you no, it's not necessarily a failure because what's coming is probably even better than what you wanted. Because ETV is definitely better than what my dream location was.
Yeah.
So I've dedicated so much time, resources. Shouts out to my supporters and people that follow me because I launched a crowdfunding campaign for this project.
Right.
And my goal was $20,000. I didn't reach $20,000, but I reached $12,500. That was not a dime of mine. Like none of that is my money. $12,500 in the matter of 60 days.
Dang.
60 days, people gave. I was awarded a South Carolina Arts Commission grant for this project. So I did what I could to get what resources I could.
You put that work in.
Because I ain't had $20,000, but I knew I wanted to do this. And this is just a tip for anybody else, want to do it. A lot of times I try to be first amongst a group of people to do things because I want to inspire people. Like, if I can do it, you can.
Right.
And what really blessed me is my track record, the things that I already had to show. Like, y'all are complimenting the production work that I already have out. For me to ask for that grant, it was a super long application. But I had this video to show. I've already done this. I've shown where my mayor, the mayor in Columbia, they gave me Tiffany J Day November 20th on my 10-year anniversary.
Man, Papa, you got Papa.
Yeah, Tiffany J Day was November 20th, 2022. So like,
I'm gonna pay attention.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I had stuff to show that allowed these blessings to come to me. You don't always have to have fat pockets, but you got to do the work to figure out how you can bring. You got to sacrifice sometimes too.
Yeah.
So like, I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I'm appreciative of support. And I say on social media all the time, if y'all ever see me complaining, like my ticket sales a little slow for my live recording. And I'm kind of accustomed to that, but I'm like, I've been selling these tickets since March, so it can get discouraging. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I tell people all the time, if y'all ever see me being like, man, nobody don't support me, slap me, like get me in line, because there's never been a time where people hadn't shown some level of support.
Right.
Support ain't always buying something. Support can be bringing me on your platform to talk about my stuff. Yeah. Support can be sharing the post, liking the post, sharing it with somebody else. If you can't come, I will give people tickets for free. Like, if I know somebody really want to be in the building and can't afford it, come to me and tell me. I will make sure you in the building. I'll either find somebody to buy your ticket or I'll just let you come. Like, but don't ever see me saying nobody don't support me, because y'all better get me in line.
Right, but we want y'all to buy those tickets.
Oh yeah,
go get those tickets, y'all.
So I can stop promoting and just worry about performing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to get my mind is just focused on that.
It's gonna pick up. It's gonna pick up for sure.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you.
We last minute people.
Yeah, you know that. You know that.
Everybody think they're richer than
Yeah. We got to line up. Make sure we can take off work. Make sure this. It's gonna come together. We definitely appreciate you for coming. Plug your social media real quick.
So you can follow me everywhere at I am Tiffany J, except on Instagram at Super Dope Chick. And Tiffany J, I hadn't said it at all, but Tiffany J is one word, no space. I tell people I charge extra when you mess up my name.
Talk that talk. I like that. I love your energy.
Thank you.
So before we get up out of here, of course, it's a hip hop platform. But before we get up out of here, I gotta ask you, a question I ask everybody.
Okay.
Top 5 rappers dead or alive, and since you do R&B, we're gonna do that R&B as well. But first, the rappers. Top 5.
Jay-Z.
See, I know I like you for a reason.
Let's not put them in order though. Can we just
no order, but Hove though.
Okay, yeah. Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, J. Cole.
Oh yes.
Beautiful list.
Rhapsody.
Oh yeah.
And
one more for the people.
Let's see.
That's hard.
And Biggie.
Oh shit!
I got a big.
I know.
Almost my
I already know.
We Aries though, so that makes sense.
That makes sense.
What about some R&B artists?
Oh man,
Top
Stevie
5.
Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. Jasmine Sullivan.
I love Jasmine Sullivan. Sheesh.
Shoot, Aretha Franklin. R&B is hard.
Yeah, I know.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe got that fire too, though.
And give me Fantasia.
Right.
Her live show crazy too.
Absolutely.
She tear it down.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
That's love, man. I love it. So if you look in your playlist right now, who you listening to right now?
I'm digging Ari Lennox a bit.
Yeah, she goes hard. Yeah. She hard.
Jasmine Sullivan, she's my favorite, and Music Soul Child.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you'll get like the normal neo. I hate the term neo soul, by the way,
okay.
but you'll get the artists that fall into that category.
Gotcha.
You'll also get a lot of Kirk Franklin. Absolutely love Kirk Franklin, and I'm trying to get more into jazz. So I'm trying to listen to some. So Samara Joy. I'm listening to her.
Okay.
She won Best New Artist and Best Jazz Record at the Grammys this year. The girl 23. Like if y'all watch the Terrell show, go watch the girl. Amazing, but she sounds so antique. Like she has a rich, classic jazz sound. Like it's unheard of.
I'm gonna check that out.
She sounds like somebody back in the 30s. Like seriously.
I seen that, matter of fact.
Like, girl is amazing. I've been listening to her music.
I seen it.
So I'm trying to be a little eclectic.
I love it.
Heck yeah.
What about the X Factor though?
Oh, X Factor.
Oh, your style. If it's not, no pressure. We won't hold it against you. It could
all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we'd both end up with scars. Tell me who I have to be to get to reciprocity. Yeah. See, no one loves you more than me, yeah. And no one ever will. So no matter how I think we grow, you always seem to let me know it ain't working. It ain't working.
All right. Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Tiffany J. All one word.
She got serious with it too. She got closing my eyes.
That was beautiful, man. Big Motion Podcast. This is what we do. We do this for South Carolina. We're bringing media to South Carolina. The movers and shakers, the people that are really making us look good out here. Tiffany J, was a pleasure. Keep doing your thing.
Appreciate
She
it.
got big things coming. Y'all know what time it is, man. Might go by the name of Bezo 803 on that social media. Is my co-host right here.
Ben Mikey Dawson Mikey. Definitely appreciate you.
Tiffany J, y'all. Big Motion.
Appreciate you.
We out.
Oh yeah.